All right. Uh Back with another one. Much About Nothing episode 5. Damn, we getting up there. Pretty quick. So we got DJ Vlad.
Sir.
Yeah. Shout out to my co-host Nova, you know, for riding this
Gang,
out.
gang, gang.
Yeah, man. We really rocking out right now. So without further ado, uh DJ Vlad and DJ Akademiks sat down, had a discussion about Kanye West's interview with DJ Akademiks. He took he took offense to a few things that Kanye did and said during the interview, and me and Nova gonna kind of get right into it. He also roped in Drake, Kendrick, Lucian Grange somehow, some way into this whole thing. So we'll start with the Kanye stuff. So you got anything to say before we start, bro?
Let's get to it. Let's do it. Yeah.
Say less. Say less. Say less. All right. I'm about to push start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Told me he did. I wouldn't be surprised. That outfit, I would sit there with it, and I would start to push back. I'd be like, you know that chain that you're wearing, the swastika chain. I lost about 9 family members by that group that you're representing right now.
Yeah,
My
talking about
grandfather,
that chain.
all his 9 siblings were killed by Nazis. I have a smaller family right now because of what you're representing. You know, you think those people like black people? When you see a Nazi out, a dude with a Nazi tattoo, you think he loves black people? You think he only hates Jews and loves black people? Like, do you know what Hitler did? He sterilized every mixed person in Germany was sterilized so they don't reproduce because they're not trying to taint the superior race that Hitler was trying to create. They weren't necessarily always killing black people, but if you were German and black, you wouldn't be allowed to have babies.
So
your kids, Kanye, your kids, if they were living in Germany at the time, would be robbed of their ability to reproduce. Male and female. Northwest will never have children because of what that symbol symbolizes. You know what I'm saying? Answer that.
What he tried to say in response to that, he said, well, listen, and I don't know if this is the sole reason. I think it's much more multifaceted because it's not. So he said,
Vlad seemed mad about this. So
they make money off our pain,
but
but they hate when we try to exploit their pain. And he uses this us versus them type of ideology. But what do you say to that? Where he's like, hey, listen, when it comes to, I guess he's speaking about black people. He's like,
so every Jewish person makes money off of black pain? Really? Every Jewish person?
I don't know.
He's saying
these
the Jews,
executives,
all the Jews.
All right,
he even said in an interview.
It's a coincidence that
one
these.
dude, that Proud Boys podcast.
3, 2, 1.
Was like,
It's a coincidence.
remember this was.
All right, I stopped it at.
Oh, I already paused.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I stopped it at 209. That's cool. Yeah.
I'm at 206.
All right, so yeah.
Yeah, so it's just a coincidence that these executives are Jewish. And what do they push? Black pain. Black stereotype. That's how they make their money.
That is true. Like, if you look at all the the execs of most of these music labels, they in some way, shape, or form, it's a shell company that owns it or some kind of company, but it all kind of ties back to that community. So, I mean, I wouldn't say correlation is causation, but it's definitely something there. It's definitely something there. Because, yeah, like, we not just doing this shit on our own. Like, it's a lot of other shit to rap about out here that don't get pushed. So
Exactly.
I feel you on that.
Exactly.
I definitely feel you on that.
A lot of artists in the underground that's rapping other shit,
So, all right. Well, yeah, we can get back to it. And 5, 4, 3, 2,
I don't know, maybe like a year and a half ago or something. He did an interview with one of the dudes from the Proud Boys. And the guy's like, hey, so when you say the Jews, are you talking about specific Jews or all Jews? Kanye said all Jews.
He said all Jews.
All Jews. So you're telling me that all Jews make money off of black pain? My mother, my father, all my cousins, everyone in Israel, you know, all the Jews terrible. Living in New York and LA and everything else like that, all the Jews in South Africa and fucking Brazil and all, like, we're all making money off. This is what we do. This is our profession. Well, like, this is what we're trained. Like, we go to colleges to make money off black people, black people's pain. Like, really? Or are certain people in the record business, you know, in certain positions, and they happen to have certain artists that are gangster rappers, and, you know, they monetize off, you know, and these artists create this music, and they, you know, are the record label leads, and they help these artists to push their albums. Along with all types of other artists.
Just in his train of thought, how he was explaining it, he would be like, well, how could one be ignored? And as soon as I wear these symbols that exploiting pain of other people, now this is a bigger issue. Yeah. Why are we causing a problem here when I do it, as opposed to when pain of black people are.
So that means that
that's a good question.
There shouldn't be an uproar if I wear a necklace of a black man hanging from a tree. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, you're exploiting got to say, white man, a symbol of violence, not just hate or disdain, actual lethal violence. If a person,
y'all selling records of violence,
any person. Black, white, or whatever, but especially non-black person somehow wears a symbol, an iced out symbol of slavery. But it would not go well on any level for that person.
But he's equating that to, say, these executives that happen to be, say, Jewish, if they're monetizing off, say, black on black violence, gangsterism, the denigration of black culture. He's like, well, yeah, that might not be lynching and really extreme levels of black turmoil, but it's still black turmoil that they're benefiting off of. So why can't I benefit off, or I don't know if he thinks he's benefiting, but why can't I exploit your pain?
So
that's his argument. I'm not saying that.
So if Kanye dropped
3, 2, pause.
Yeah.
All right. That was a little heavy, but two-sided. He does have a point. If he did wear a fucking chain with somebody hanging around it, it would be a complete uproar. I'm not gonna ignore that. Like, we wouldn't just flip the fuck out. Like, we are. So in some capacity, they do. Yeah. He has a gripe. Like, let's not make this clear. There aren't any other black people out there in black Klans robes. We not out there in black Klans robes. None of the niggas we know out there in black Klans robes. So this is actually an anomaly when it comes to things like that. Like, this is almost new. It's brand new for me, as far, not his ideology, because he's been this way, but like actually going about acting it out. So how do you feel about that?
Well, what Vlad said about the iced out, dude hanging from a tree, that is like the same as when the swastika and shit like that. But also, the swastika is a symbol of peace originally. The iced out man hanging from the tree is just a symbol of slavery and shit. So one symbol has a double meaning, the other symbol. So shit, he's still making money off the black pain, black crime and shit, the degenerates and shit like that that's going on, the YNs and the YBs and shit.
Yeah.
They making money off that. They pushing it. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ain't gonna drag this out. Let's keep going in 5, 4, 3, 2.
If he wanted to support an artist who was Jewish, who talked about killing other Jewish people, like, you know, banging on other Jewish people, whatever else, I don't think anyone really have a problem with that. I wouldn't give a shit, right? That's what he's talking about. In fact, a lot of these,
Fair enough.
when you look at sort of the biggest gangster rap labels, there's usually a black person at the head of them. Suge Knight, you know, QC, Coach K and P, gangster rappers all on that label, right?
And again, I feel like I'm playing devil's advocate.
And the parent label, that's just one of their properties out of dozens of artists, including a Taylor Swift and including all these other people and again, Ed Sheeran and whatever else. Like,
I'm playing devil's advocate for the conversation here, but I think even when we even got to the Kendrick stuff, he's like, he has this idea of like agents, or sometimes he says slaves, and he's like, hey, listen, Cardi is an agent because, yeah, Cardi might represent this, but then he's being handled by this guy Lucian. Or that's the thing, Kendrick might think, hey, I'm getting at Drake and blah, 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 but you're basically being puppeteered by the people who own UMG, and those people aren't you. This idea of not like us, the person who's really not like us is the person who owns your catalog and that you're really signed to. And that's how he's thinking.
You really think that someone other than Kendrick put together the song Not Like Us?
No, not the song. But the
whole beef, do you think that one of the presidents or vice presidents at UMG was like, yo, Kendrick, you know, you should do this and beef with Drake, you know, you should, you know, when you do this Future album, Future and Metro Boomin album,
they found it very opportunistic.
Not on an idea wise, but
Kendrick is Kendrick. Like, Kendrick is really
made money off of it.
So unique in terms of his approach.
Grammys, Super Bowl,
no, of course, but
I don't think anyone's in his ear over this.
And I do agree or believe this. Do I believe that the top level record executive says, hey, listen, we have 2 of our UMG artists that are gonna start attacking each other, and no matter who wins, we're gonna get the majority of the profits. So we're gonna put resources behind this to fuel. We're gonna use bots. We're gonna push this to radio. We're gonna make this big because we really don't have to do much because people like seeing a fight. We're just gonna profit off of their destruction of each other. Oh yeah, I definitely think that. Now, is it on a race level? No, I think that's on a business level.
Are they making the majority of the profits, or the artists making the majority of the profits?
All right. He said a little bit, but it was a lot. And essentially what he's saying is UMG is a gun dealer in the midst of a war. It doesn't give a fuck.
Rockefeller?
UMG, Universal Music Group. Yeah. Rockefeller. It is literally a gun dealer in the midst of a war. It's on both sides. It don't give a fuck who it sell to, as long as it makes his money. So in this moment, when Drake and Kendrick is beefing, UMG is literally just a gun dealer in the midst of a war, looking for a payout. They don't give a fuck who wins.
Exactly.
So that I mean, some of that don't matter. I don't know how they jumped onto the Kanye part, but I mean the Kendrick part, but yeah, like in that case between Drake and Kendrick, UMG is the gun dealer. So yeah, let's get back to it in 5, 4, 3, 2.
No, definitely the record labels.
You think?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you mean to tell me?
If Drake gets his $400 million, that's his first contract, his last contract, $400 million. You think UMG's not at least projected to get at least $2 billion from the proceeds within that 3 or 4 years? You don't?
I don't think it's that much.
Vlad,
I don't think the margins are that big. I don't think
Vlad,
the margin,
it has to be at least
2.5 times. I don't think so. I don't think the margin.
Vlad, you wouldn't do an interview if you gave somebody $50,000 to do an interview. You wouldn't do it just to get $60,000, would you? You would give that person $50,000 if you're going to make at least $100.
It depends who it is.
You got a point.
Depends who it is. Like certain people. Okay, it's like this, right? Think about it like this.
Vlad had to learn from Marlon Wayans, though,
right?
so he don't know.
So
That's another topic.
If I pay someone
Got the low bar mile
$1,000
for an interview,
and I make $5,000 off of it, that sounds like a good deal, right? I invested $1,000,
Yeah,
and I made $5,000 off the interview. If I give Boosie $50,000 and I make $10,000 off of it, the margin is way smaller, but it's still more money than the $5,000 doing the same exact job with regard of the two people. See what I'm saying? So the margins are smaller, but the overall profit, the raw profit is higher. So when it comes to someone like a Drake, they could take, like, for example, I think the perfect example of this is Cash Money. Cash Money has a deal with Republic, at least originally they did, where like Republic only takes like 15%.
Yeah, it's actually 90-10, yeah.
10%, even better. 90-10 deal, they get to keep their masters, right? And they had a huge advance on top of it. There's a reason why Republic, which I think was under Universal at the time also, was only taking 10% because they're like, we're going to make so much money, this 10% is going to turn into millions and millions. But okay, y'all keep the 90 because we know that this is the only way we're going to be able to make this deal. You think Drake is really going to say, I'm going to take $400 million knowing y'all going to make 2.5 times what I make? No. He is so big at the point that he could bring those margins closer to him knowing so much cash will be generated.
Okay. So
no way he's getting $400 million and they make $2 billion. 5 times? No.
Over the
1.2. No. It's not like that. They'll give him $400 million and maybe make $500 or $600 million.
No, not even close. All right, so let me give you my reason.
And you got to think that money gets recouped.
All right?
That's alone.
All right, so they cut it. I don't know if they cut for you. But
they cut.
So I think Drake's margins are a little bit higher than what DJ Vlad is thinking about. Because he got to think about globally. And Drake is global. So when you start to think about, and not to say Kendrick isn't, he's global too. But like when you start to think about how long Drake has been touring globally and how long he's been known, like, yeah, you got to take all of that shit into account when you talk about his equity at the company, as far as what he can stand to get and how low he can actually make the margins. So I mean, while he is still Drake, I don't think they would take less than a 2-1. You know what I mean? So if he getting 400 million, they gotta make 8 or something like that. I just don't think that UMG would take less than a 1-1 margin. Like I just don't. That's terrible risk to reward.
Hell no.
So even in day trading, that's terrible risk to reward. It's less than a 1-1. So
like, yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, nah, I'm not for that. But what you think? Like,
I don't know. Yeah. I agree. Yeah, that's bad business.
yeah, so I don't know, man. Like to just leave it off on that point, I don't know what Drake splits is. But this shit turned from Kanye into Kendrick and Drake. But on the Kanye note, I think Kanye's still a little off his rocker. But I do think he makes some valid ass points as far as the pain.
Yeah, it's a lot of truth behind this madness.
Yeah, so he makes some points behind the pain conversation. That's something to still be like discussed or parsed out.
Definitely does.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I guess we're gonna go ahead and wrap this topic up, and then we're gonna hop on to the next one, man. All right. So the next topic we got is same thing, not same thing, but Akademiks and Vlad. They kept going on their conversation, and it kind of spiraled into the Diddy Cassie situation. And I mean, he had some interesting things to say about the whole situation. So I mean, let's just get right into it. we haven't heard about this in months, and I kind of want to hear what he has to say or what his perspective is. So, yeah, I'm about to start in 5, 4, 3, 2.
But I've been saying this, like, yo, I think Diddy's gonna get bail.
So the case is tentatively still scheduled for May. It got to get pushed back. They've given one superseding indictment. I think they're gonna do a second. A lot
of these superseding indictments are weird, like forced labor. Okay, so you made people work a few extra hours.
We're waiting to see the co-conspirators, unless all the co-conspirators are snitching. That's the only way they don't get named. You can't. If I can't charge you for having an enterprise and a organization if you're the only one. So we're trying to hear these people. And we haven't seen them, but there's a way, if they're witnesses for the government, they wouldn't be named.
Look, if Diddy walked free, I would not be surprised. I've been saying this for ever since he got locked up. I was on Piers Morgan saying this, and people are like, oh, you're protecting him. You're at the Diddy parties. You're the guy with the lube. Like, I don't know. There's all types of weird.
You're the guy with the KY jelly.
You're the baby oil.
That nigga the guy with the lube.
Jaguar Wright said I'm Mossad. Like, there's always these weird things, but it's like me and Stevie J were talking about this interview recently. It's just like, what exactly did he do?
That's crazy, yo.
That's really just illegal, like to the point of actually facing 20 years. Like a lot of this stuff is like, all right, you flew out a girl and you had sex with her. Like every entertainer does this. You had parties and there was drugs there. I don't think anyone was having their head shoved in a mountain of cocaine and forced to do drugs. If you want to do some coke or pop some pills, here you go. If you don't, all right, whatever. You're hiring prostitutes. Okay. They're happy to be getting that money. They're not going to be thinking they're being taken advantage of. You know what I mean? That's like, you might as well. So porn stars, that's sex trafficking, right? You're flying someone out and paying them for sex, right? So whoever films in LA or Miami, wherever they do porn, not everyone lives there. They fly out talent, right? That's sex trafficking, I guess, by this definition. Was he violent with people? Yeah, he was. I mean, I know of some women that he beat up. Like, I remember like Roger Bonds like played me this voicemail from this one, like, his cook or something. He put his hands on her. That's bad. I get it. But a lot of this stuff is past the statute of limitations. The case is not about that.
He's shooting a lot of this shit down. It's really about
like this criminal RICO enterprise and whatever else. I just think that he was, he was worth hundreds of millions of dollars. He had weird sexual fetishes. If he wants to jack off while someone fucks his girl who's got a bigger dick than him, I mean, that's his business, not my thing. But hey, whatever. There's nothing illegal about that. She was with it. From what I understand, I guess Cassie turned in some tapes, and his lawyers were like, this proves that she was a willing participant. I mean, I know someone that told me that Cassie would go and pick out the guys.
Well, it kind of felt like even in her allegations when she filed in the civil trial, she was basically saying, "Oh yeah, I did pick out."
Yeah. All right. I'm at 307. I can't hear you.
Oh shit, I'm at 308.
All right, bet. All right. So that was a lot he said in 3 minutes right there. But I didn't think his stance was going to be that, as far as he kind of was disproving a lot of shit. Well, not disproving, but, shooting a lot of that shit down, which would, make sense when you start to, like, think about it. Like, all right, so how many people came forward to actually be on the stand? We don't know yet. Like, do you know? Like, it's one person.
Nah, I don't even know.
The initial witness. I don't know if anybody else came to be a witness. Like, maybe Cassie. I think Cassie, like you said, Cassie turned in some documents. Like, I don't know how many people, because I haven't really looked at all of the documents. But the only thing I can say is there are a lot of victims that say, like, yeah, no, he did this to me. So it's not like he's gonna just walk out of jail in the minute they say, hey, yeah, you didn't rape nobody, or you didn't, you know what I mean? Like,
definitely.
He's not just gonna walk out of jail. They're gonna do to him what they did to O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, definitely a Me Too moment going on right now.
Yeah, so I think they're gonna do to him what they did to O.J. Simpson. And I'm not saying that this nigga's innocent. I'm just saying if he's innocent of anything and they try to clear him of everything, it's not gonna go that easy. Not in the slightest.
Yeah.
Because you accused of attempted murder too, nigga. Like that's just not gonna go away. So like while Vlad thinking he just gonna walk out of jail, not gonna happen. Like I don't got that happening.
Yeah, nah, that ain't gonna happen.
All right, well we can get back to it.
Especially all the shit he got. Yeah.
Yeah, nah, he got a lot of assets, bro.
Yeah.
He has a lot of assets.
And he got a lot of tapes too.
Like so,
with other people in there.
Yeah, so that shit is crazy. But all right, well let's get back to it then. In 5, 4, 3, 2.
He got the guys, but he forced me to.
Well, I mean,
he told me to go find the one with the big dicks.
Yeah, but I mean,
which is like, hey yo,
a lot of this stuff is really just
That's
like
crazy.
She wanted to be there. You know what I mean? It's like she really could leave when she wanted to. She wanted to be in that lifestyle. She knew she wasn't a talented singer. She knew that, but she was given a lot of opportunities. I've said this. I've had conversations with Stevie J and Jonathan Rodham, who I think may have worked with her or something like that. Everyone pretty much says, she's not a great singer. You know, I mean, yeah, she had one hit song, you know what I mean, that Ryan Leslie gave her. But I know someone who was at Bad Boy during the whole time she was there. And he told me, he said, because, you know, the dialogue is that Diddy held back Cassie's career and dangled this fame in front of her if she continued to be exploited sexually by him.
Mm-hmm.
Cassie was given opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. She had all these songs that features like Kid Cudi and all these other people. And every time she had a song completed, my man, who was in the promotions department of Bad Boy, told me they pushed it as hard as every other artist on the label. People just didn't take to it because she's not a great singer. She's not a Mary J. Blige. She's not an Adele. She's not a Whitney Houston. Like that's not even a conversation.
Yeah, that's
not remember, a conversation. Charlamagne got fired for basically like making fun of her singing when she came to his radio station in Philly. That was a whole thing. So you have someone who would have been dropped from any record label, much less Bad Boy, who drops artists all the time, if she wasn't fucking the boss. And I'm sure she knew that. Where did her music career go after she broke up with Puffy? Was there a bidding war for Cassie?
Nah, it didn't happen.
Did any label, did an independent label want Cassie?
Right.
Hey, what's the name of Ghazi's label?
Empire.
Empire did not want Ghazi. They give deals to everybody.
Hey, what I realize is happening in the Diddy case, and we're going to see what turns out of it, is that because Diddy got such a huge tidal wave of allegations, there's over 100 allegations in the civil sense. Not all are filed.
A lot of them are being thrown out. All the Tony Busby shit's getting thrown out.
That's what's happening now. And that's making it, because it felt like the backbone of the criminal case were rested on the laurels of the civil allegations.
Right.
And then when you then find out, other than Cassie that might have some water that it could hold, the rest of these are bullshit. Like for the guy Lil Rod, who they were touting up, he's the one who mentioned Meek Mill and everybody else. Yeah. He alleged that there was a RICO type situation going on, and the judge said, "No, it's not. What is this?"
Listen, I talked to Stevie J about this. Stevie J was in the Lil Rod lawsuit, and there was a picture of him getting butt fucked, and the actual gay porn star,
it wasn't him. It was
came forward and said, "That's me getting butt fucked."
Yeah, dude trying to get his OnlyFans going on. Yeah,
I'm getting butt fucked.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna let someone take the credit for my butt fucking. Yeah. It's me. I'm the butt fuck guy.
That's 5 times.
But it's in the fucking lawsuit. Stevie's like, I'm not gay. I've been around Stevie for like 20 years. Like seriously, like me and him really know each other like for forever. Like he's not gay on any level.
This is gonna be one of the trials that we're gonna see if the feds made a critical error in going off of.
I'm at 7:04. All right.
Me too.
So all right, he said a lot, but What they did say was that lawyer Tony Busby, his shit went away, and that was a lot of those civil suits. So that was the same nigga that was throwing the case on Jay-Z a few months ago. And Jay-Z said, get the fuck out of here, and made a counter sue. And now that nigga withdrew all the claims, and the witness withdrew, and he's still going after him. Like, yeah, that's the same lawyer. And so he makes a living out of going after celebrities and, wealthy people. Because it's easier to make the story go away than it is to... So if you can get, so if his shit is getting thrown out on the Diddy case, Act might be right when he say that, maybe some of that other criminal shit may not hold water outside of Cassie. And I'm not saying that he's fucking innocent. I'm just saying, like, yeah, you may not go to jail for it. So, I don't know, man. They make a good point. These niggas aren't lawyers. So, I don't know, like, in that sense, but they make good points when they talk about it. Like, a lot of shit is like, but wait. But, and all this shit getting thrown out, like, that shit matters. So, all right, let's get back to it. In 5, 4, 3, 2.
What public outcry was, maybe because of the video that came out, or maybe because of the lawsuit, and they charged this guy. By the way, he's been held without bail, and they don't have anything to substantially show. We don't normally see the feds do this. This is not the DAs out of Fulton County in Atlanta. This is the feds. They usually come with having some type of proof, crossing their T's, dotting their I's. Also, this case was also trumped up to be a representative of, hey, this is like a Jeffrey Epstein type of thing. But there's no
underage girls involved.
Well, it also was touted as, this is a guy who's just as bad as R. Kelly. And
again, underage girls. If you're talking about underage girls, I'd say it's a wrap. It's a wrap. But I haven't heard anything about underage girls. Have you read through some of these lawsuits? I remember I read through this one lawsuit of this woman, like, she's a failed author, right? I found her on Amazon. She has 2 books that have like 2 or 3 reviews. She's a single mom. And this lawsuit, she had to reveal her name to go forward with the lawsuit. And I read through it, and it's like, then we went back to Diddy, and he said, I'm going to kill you unless you have sex with me. And I'm going through this, going like, really?
A comic book, bro.
Really? And I did, and I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that is crazy.
You will die unless you suck my dick. Oh, no, my friend was scared, so she sucked his dick, and then he fucked me, and I was scared, and then I ran. Like, I'm reading through this, going like, this is not believable.
It's the same thing.
And there's no proof behind any of it. It's just an allegation that's like 20 years old.
And the sickening part of it, because, some of the lawyers are weaponizing them, because the worst thing that happened was the supposed Diddy payment of $30 million to Cassie. You have all these money, like
I heard it's actually 7 digits.
Okay, but regardless, you had hotlines. Has Diddy ever touched you? Call in.
Yeah.
1-800
Tony Busby.
Diddy did it. You know what I mean?
Diddy did it.
And
Diddy did it.
That created such a tidal wave. I'm really interested to see how this is gonna go.
Listen, like,
no, Diddy.
Do you think he gets found guilty of, let's just say, the most serious charges?
You know what I think?
Sex trafficking.
You know what I think is going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
Plea deal, time served. Young Thug like. That's what I think. Plea deal, Young Thug. Because listen, people like to say the feds have a 98% conviction rate. That is true if you count all the plea deals. Because most people take plea deals. Do you want to risk doing 30 years? Or do you want to take the slap on the wrist plea deal? You know who didn't take a plea deal was Murder Inc. I interviewed Chris Gotti about this in depth. He told me that they were willing to give them basically just sign a guilty thing and no prison time, probation, whatever else. They said, no, we're not going to sign it. We're going to go to court. this whole case is bullshit. They went to court and they won. Now it fucked up their whole company in the process. Murder Inc. was never the same after that. They got kicked out of the Def Jam, the Universal building and everything else like that, and the label never recovered.
That is
right?
how
but
it happened too.
When you go to court, it's really nowhere near 98. It's maybe like 60-40, 70-30. Like you could beat the feds if you're willing to take them to court. And if they really have a bullshit case on you and you have a fucking, listen, like my lawyer is $950 an hour, she's on a different level than other lawyers I've dealt with. Like the level of like focus. I just interviewed Joe Takapina, who was A$AP Rocky's lawyer.
Yeah.
He charges $2,400 an hour.
That's crazy.
I've never heard of this amount. I've never heard of an amount this high before.
That's crazy.
But look what he did. He got A$AP Rocky off with a fake gun defense for a video that had him shooting a gun at somebody. Like, I'm just saying, like...
Him and Brian still got to be charged on the ass.
Like, I'm just saying, you get these... And Diddy has all these types of lawyers. It is, You think Diddy's not going to spend his last dollar to keep himself out of fucking prison for the rest of his life? If you told Diddy, listen, give up all your money, every penny, you can go free, or take it to court and you might face life in prison. What do you think Diddy's going to do?
Oh, he's giving them. Hey, let me tell you this.
Because he knows he can make more money.
The time I spoke to Diddy, 6ix9ine put me on the phone. 6ix9ine was locked up in MDC.
Yeah, told me about this, yeah.
And he literally said when he went in there, it's him, Sam Bankman-Fried, Diddy. They're all in like this really specialized, like what they call a special housing unit, and they're kept away from other people, but they're being like super watched because they can't have somewhere where these guys like kill themselves or something like that and don't make the shop. And
he was locked up with the crypto.com nigga. SBF nigga, the one that stole all them niggas money. You got free SBF. We coming for that. Where my money at, yo? Give me, nigga. Where my money at, yo? Anyway, I'm joking. You ain't getting none of my money, nigga, because I would never put my money in anything you. Yeah. Anyway, let's just stick to the topic though. Like, he's right, yo. He got full access to all those kind of lawyers, yo. So
he do.
If they tell Diddy anything crazy like 100 years, he's gonna fight that shit.
He definitely. He gonna pay up. He gonna get all them niggas on the same team and shit. like all the top. Then he gonna form the Avengers and shit. Was his defense and shit.
Like that's if people are willing to represent him. Now they charge $2,400 for that nigga over there.
Yeah,
you did
for that nigga, for Diddy.
This is for yo. This is gonna be $20,000 an hour.
This your life on the line. So
it's a lot of billable hours right here, my boy. I charged them $2,400. Yesterday's price ain't today's price.
You Diddy, buddy. That was Young Thug, but you Diddy. You Ciroc boy.
You Ciroc boy. So like, while I believe them, I also have my reservations about what they say. So, yeah, man. I'm at 12:10. Where you at?
12:10.
All right, bet. Well, you got anything else to say, or we can keep pushing?
Yeah, we can keep pushing.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2.
He said this to me. He said, when I first got in here, he says Diddy was depressed. He was sleeping all day. And he was just depressed by, I think that's when he got denied bail a couple times. He was depressed. And he said he had a conversation with Diddy where it's like, yo, you got to use your resources and fight this. You got to start reaching out to the media and show a different side of you. You got to have your kids post things that doesn't just have you as this monster. The last thing people remember is you chasing Cassie down in that video. And then that makes them believe that every allegation is true. Yeah. And if what 6ix9ine was telling me is true, I think Diddy, and even the conversation I heard with him and Kanye where he's saying, yo, what he said, he's just like, look at, I'm a billionaire and they got me locked up.
Yeah.
I of course think he would trade his entire bank account for his freedom. You could tell that's not only for his lifestyle that he's used to, that's not a pleasurable place for him to be. And he probably realizes who gives a fuck about the millions if you're going to be incarcerated there.
Nah.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So I definitely think he would. I'm interested to see how this is going to go. I think the case is going to get pushed back, not this year, next year. I think he's going to get bond at a point.
Right.
I think the feds don't want him to get bond because I think if Diddy gets out, he's going to be able to try to sway public. You know, I think people are realizing now these little lawsuits, it's a lot of bullshit. By the way, Jay-Z did him a favor. Jay-Z completely eviscerated this person who claimed, completely eviscerated Busby.
Yeah, we just talked about it.
To the point where Busby can't file cases in New York anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
shit,
he had to
can't even
dismiss all
file
his cases.
Yeah, and really,
in New York.
it's like a really small error that made that happen. But Jay-Z's lawyers are such hawks. Shout out to Alex Spiro. They're making sure they figure it out. So yeah, he's registered to practice in Houston or Texas. Actually, there's something. It's called a pro hoc vice, which means you could. It means it's Latin for one time and one time only. If you're not licensed to practice law in, for example, New York, you could still be seen as an attorney as long as you're allowed to practice in Texas. However, you have to have an accompanied accredited lawyer within the state along with you. And you have to file a separate form to say, I'm not licensed to practice here, right? But I'm going to be practicing along this side of this person who knows all the rules. And third, Tony Busby mass filed, I don't know if he was using Chat GPT or what, mass filed these things, didn't file that thing I'm telling you at the right time, and these things are getting dismissed. And now his credibility, he's getting sued by Jay. This shit is...
Well, yeah, but then Jay also reported...
That's crazy.
You know, him to this New York...
Ethics board.
And they showed, you know, they basically said, yes, we agree that he has not shown proper ethics as a lawyer, and he's being barred from practicing in New York because of that.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense. You can't just, man, like...
That's what's up, yo.
Like,
Get
literally,
that nigga off
anyone
the board.
who's ever had a picture with Diddy or been at Daddy's house
I don't know
studio
what. Yeah, get that nigga out the
file
court.
a lawsuit. You know what I'm saying? They say, yeah, here's a picture of me next to the Daddy's house sign, and Diddy butt fucked me after that.
Yo,
you know, it's like, okay,
did you hear about the one?
You know, Diddy wasn't even like, I've been at Daddy's house studio. I've been to Puffy parties. Like,
did you,
nothing ever happened. Like,
did you hear the one where they put Drewski in it and they said, yo, Drewski lubed up the chick and then jumped on her like it was a slip and slide?
And Drewski said I was living with my Drewski said I was living with my mom during this time. I wasn't even in the industry on any level. I wouldn't even be at a party like this. No, like people throw it. Isn't there a new one saying like LeBron was there and some fucking?
They got Beyonce now involved.
Again, it's dumb.
We don't know what this is gonna turn out, but that's the thing that's currently happening. I will say though, you know what I was impressed by? With all the shit and say not like us and everything people talking about Drake, not one chick even erroneously filed a lawsuit or like I thought there was going to be a few of those to take advantage of the moment. And
me too. Yo.
There's been not one person that's accused Drake of anything.
Drake and Kendrick.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if some shit starts coming out. Well, from what I understand, when Drake first moved to like Hidden Hills, like they were wilding out in that house.
Oh man, he gonna stop right there.
That's it.
All right, man. So I guess when Drake first moved to Hidden Hills, man, he was wilding out in that house. And since he was wilding out in that house, maybe we see some more allegations come out, maybe against him. But hey, remember Drake is, and he might be able to fight that. Because he got the power.
He got the connects.
Yeah, so I'm just like, all right, it is what it is. But I mean, for us, I feel like, if that was any one of us, we going to fuck down. Get that out the way.
Yeah.
Money and no money. But how you feel about this though? Anyway, Like as far as all of these allegations and stuff.
I mean, I think it's like a Me Too moment going on. You know, if people just copycatting or they seeing the money opportunity, so they just putting out shit. I think some of the shit might be true, but again, it's like, all right, you went to the party and shit. Like, was you forced to go to the party, or was you forced to do the drugs? Was you forced to,
So, do you think any part of this is true as far as any of the allegations that's going on against? We don't know all of them, but like, it was a lot.
I think I could say it's like a conspiracy behind that. Like I think he got some politicians on tape too.
Fair enough.
And that's why, the government probably got him behind bars so they can try to scoop up all the tapes he got and shit,
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you
Think he was blackballing people and shit. Blackmailing people and shit, so yeah.
Do you think that the how can I put this? Do you think that the witch hunt would continue, you know, depending on if he gets out of when he get out of jail, if he get out of jail?
If he make bail and shit, if he get out, yeah.
You think the witch
I
hunt
think I think he will have probably if he get out of jail. Yeah, I think I think it'll continue. Yeah, that drain and shit. Yeah.
Do you think that he has enough cachet to sway public opinion back in his favor when he gets let out? Because those was heavy accusations. And I say when because that would be after he got
especially after the Cassie tape.
Yeah.
Him in the hallway and shit. Nah, ain't no coming back from that. Yeah.
Ain't no coming back from that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would be tough for him to get back into the good graces of other people.
Yeah. If that tape ain't come out, you can say, oh, she lied. Maybe she lied, but the tape came out like, oh, so you was really doing this shit. Okay, like, hey.
All right.
Maybe everything she said was true. Shit.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's right. Take it in. What else he do? 1-800 Diddy did it. Who else?
Right.
Who else?
He did it?
He did it? Yeah, he did it. Let me write that shit down. What'd he do? All right.
Okay.
He jumped on you like a slip and slide. Okay, I'm gonna write this shit down. Okay. So, all right.
Right.
All right. Well, yeah. You got anything else on this, man? Before I wrap this up.
Nah, I'm good on that.
All right. Well, yeah. We can go ahead and move on to the next topic then.